Hey everybody, Stu Smith here with another Tactical Fitness Report, and I have a special guest with me, Sam Coleman, and we are going to talk about the world of medieval maces, right? These actual big strongman type pieces of equipment that Sam makes. And I just want to hear the story because one, I'm not very familiar adding mace activity to my training, right? So I wanted to bring you on to one, introduce you, but also introduce your company and your system of how you've evolved to be the mace master, um, and now make them. So Sam, welcome to the Tactical Fitness Report.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to
absolutely.
share my story.
Yeah, let's kind of dig down and why what drove you towards this kind of unconventional exercise piece of equipment.
Well, I've always been into fitness since a kid. I did boxing since I was 5 years old until I got a little into my teenage years, and then I started slacking off. But when I got into my early 20s, I really started honing in on fitness and working out. It was mainly strength training and hypertrophy at that time. And I did that for like 4 years. That's really all I cared about. The bro split, I was just
Sure.
going to the team and doing simple stuff, curls, squats, presses, that kind of thing, deadlifts. That's my favorite. And then I felt like I was missing something in my fitness. I didn't have the mobility I wanted, the flexibility I wanted, the explosiveness, the durability, these kind of aspects of fitness, these pillars that are important in fitness. And I started realizing that. So I started exploring what could I do to expand my fitness and become a more well-rounded athlete. I like to think like I want to be more like an athlete than a bodybuilder. So I started looking for tools that would help me, like kettlebells and battle ropes, slam balls. And eventually I stumbled across the Steel Mace. This was probably 2015. I saw this guy named Mr. Mace Man. He was swinging around something. I'm like, what the hell is that?
I've seen
Uh,
him. Yeah.
yeah, he's Mr. Mace Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice guy. I've talked to him many times, and he's great. Good guy. And so I bought one. At that time, there was only one seller, and I have no problem saying it's On It. Great company, really cool company. So I bought it from On It, got myself a mace, and I loved it. And I before buying it, of course, I did my research on it, like what benefits could I get from it, and the history behind it really got me excited. I thought that was very interesting,
Yeah.
and I just
What
want
is the history on it? Other than I have watched TV shows where there were big dudes on the battlefield using maces to just pummel people. What is the athletic history behind it?
the athletic history probably dates back as far as the late 19th century. Obviously, it's a weapon, it's a bludgeon that's been used in warfare for thousands of years. I mean, this weapon is probably the oldest kind of weapon there is. They found mace heads, perforated mace heads, as far back as the Bronze Age, or even farther, probably who knows, 50,000 years ago, even, because
Caveman.
it's such a simple tool. It's a long stick with a heavy end. Yeah. So it's very simple, right? There's nothing crazy about it. It's a simple object that you could use to bash heads in, but it turned into a fitness product thanks to the Kushti wrestlers in India. And this
Oh,
dates back to the late 19th century. They don't call it a mace. It is a mace though. They call it a gada, and it's similar. They took it from the weapon to more of a fitness tool, which it looks different than the mace, and it looks different than a weapon. You couldn't really use it as a weapon because it's a very long, thin piece of wood attached to a very large concrete rounded block,
it looks
and they're
more
usually
like a
very
bat. Looks like a bat with a big head on it.
huge head. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this is a lot easier to use, actually, even though this is an awkward tool. That's even more awkward, the
Mhm.
gada. But they started using it for their wrestlers. They have the Kushti wrestlers. It's one of their main tools that they use for rotational power and core strength. They actually, the Hindus actually have a god, Hanuman, Lord Hanuman. He's a monkey god who wields a mace, or a gada, and that's ancient,
Sure.
thousands of years. And so their culture, they know all about this. I mean, maybe not all of India, but the northern India, it's big. And yeah, so there's actually also a famous wrestler who is named the Great Gamma, and he is known for, he's long time ago, he wrestled for 50 years. He went undefeated, a massive man, and he was known for always having a gada with him. So in their culture, it's been around for a long time. If you go to northern India, you'll see them at their gyms, their wrestling gyms. But it wasn't until probably a decade or so ago, maybe a little longer, that it came to the Western world in the form of the steel mace, which is different. I'm not sure exactly who first turned it into a steel mace. It wasn't me, but I mean, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, this thing is awesome, and I want to get it. And then I did, and
So let's do this. Let's say, all right, so you got your athletic history that was based in lifting, training, bodybuilding, stuff like that. And then you found this mace. What was it that you noticed that changed when you started adding mace training to your day?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was really feeling tight at that time. Like my shoulders were super tight. I remember specifically feeling like I wasn't as mobile as I wanted to be. I was lacking the mobility. The steel mace is not a tool to give you mobility. I should say that. It is a tool that will help you maintain mobility. So that's an important thing to note. But I started working on my mobility at that time, using resistant bands and body weight exercises and stuff. And I noticed that my shoulders felt so good. They felt very fluid. I felt that my thoracic spine had more mobility. I felt that my grip strength, for sure, was crazy. It quickly improved my grip strength. I've always had pretty good grip strength. I grew up on a farm, and I'd have to split wood and carry buckets of water around since I was a young boy. So I've had a foundation of strength anyway, and especially my grip. But yeah, so I just noticed my core it felt great for the core. The steel mace the main exercise is the 360. I think maybe that's an important thing to talk about. It's like for the kettlebell swing, the steel mace, the 360. And the 360 is not a rotational exercise. It's an anti-rotation exercise. So, I mean, I felt that it was really working my core in a very unique way. It's hard to really justify that, but throughout the years, I can say for sure it has. I have very good core strength and shoulder endurance. I felt a lot of different things, but more than anything, I just felt like it excited me more than anything else at the time.
All right. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's please.
No, yeah, that 360 looked like is probably one of the most common ones I've seen people demonstrate. Right now, when I looked at your website, which is setforset.com, right?
Yes.
Setforset.com has a great poster on there. In fact, let me share it. I can show people what that is. Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. So here's the 360 you were talking about, right? Kind of with a squat.
That's a combination of the 360 with a squat. The 360, because with the mace, you can just combine exercises and make sequences. The 360 should be in the swing section. Maybe it's the first. Go down to the right, right there.
Okay.
We put in the
okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I was watching this one, and this one is a really cool one. You mix it with a squat. So basically you just add a squat on your side, go vertical, then you do the 360, and then you put it on the other side, do a squat with it. Okay,
Yep.
I really played around with that one the other day. That was the tough one. And of course, this is one, this one makes you realize a couple of things. This 360. One, it made me realize I need to work on my grip a little more because
Yep.
especially with the heavy mace, that heavy mace, the light one wasn't so bad, but the heavy one crushed me after doing just a few rounds of this. And then balance and shoulder stability. All
Yep.
of that comes into play when you're playing around with this weight at the end of a piece of metal pole. So yeah, that was a really good one. So yeah, I took a look at this your mace exercise poster here, and so many different things. It's a very versatile tool that but you can just add to your normal calisthenics just to make them a little bit harder. Not
Yep.
not unlike a sandbag. You could do the same thing with a sandbag too. This is just going to be different with the offset weight that makes it
Absolutely.
so challenging. And you're so right with your when you talked about rotation and anti-rotation. Building the ability to not rotate is a completely different animal than having rotational strength.
Yeah.
It's two different things, and a lot of people neglect one or the other or both. When they're doing their training, this seems like a good way to definitely practice both.
Yeah, definitely to practice both for sure. And I mean, the 360 is like the foundational movement, and then once you learn that, you can start doing all different types of stuff. It's an anti-rotation exercise, but there's many ways to use the mace for rotational
Sure.
strength, and it's a transverse plane tool. It's a multi-planar tool, but
Right.
it's awesome for the transverse plane, which I think is really cool for the military and athletes and anyone who needs that. I mean, everybody needs that. It's real world type
Oh,
movements,
sure. Boxers, anybody
Yep.
who's, trying to create power that
Yeah.
starts from their feet and ends with their hands.
Yeah.
If you think about most sports, that's what we do. We create power starting from your feet. It works its way up, goes through your torso. Might be a twisting option to that, might be an up and down option. But when you talk multiple planes, that's what that means.
Yep.
You're doing movements in different areas, and most of them are always involved with some production of force. Right. So that's how we multiply. Every joint multiplies your force creation as you move up your body, and the more stability and the more strength that you have in that torso, hip to shoulder region is key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I love
would you say the mace is like that's its bread and butter, like between shoulders and hips?
it is. It is. Yeah. Well, for example, the kettlebell, your hips are going to be mobile, you're going to be moving, and your shoulders are going to be stable. With the mace, for many exercises, for the main ones, your hips are going to be stable and your shoulders are going to be mobile. It's kind of like the opposite. But yeah, I mean, it depends. There's so many different exercises. There are hundreds of exercises, but you're absolutely right that the hips and the shoulders are the key points. But the mace really does train you to work your body as one unit. We're not like Frankenstein where we have one different body part that we need to focus on, but we train as one unit. It really is great for the oblique slings and those connective tissues, and that's what you need for that rotation. And I love it for that. It is probably the bread and butter for sure. It's just that connection that you get through the different areas of your joints and the kinetic chain, and just be able to create force and resist force.
So how long have you been using the mace?
It's been since 2015, so yeah, about 6 years.
That's pretty impressive. So you found a piece of equipment that you really liked, right? So much so that you built a company to make them, right?
Yep.
How was that whole process? Because now we're talking about taking your hobby and something you enjoy, and now you're turning it into a business, right? What was that transition for you in this field like? Because a lot of us do that. whenever we're in the fitness business, it starts off as a hobby and it becomes a business. And the sad part about it is you somewhat lose your hobby.
Yeah.
But you never work for a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You enjoy your work. So
Yeah. I love my work, but I work 7 days a week, but it's not all about maces these days. It's a lot of other stuff, the daily grind. But yeah, so I had been into e-commerce since 2010, 2011. I worked for a startup company. We the eyeglasses company, nothing to do with fitness, but it taught me a lot about e-commerce and building an online business. We started it from scratch. So I was an employee, but I went from content manager to marketing manager, and then I decided, you know what, I want to branch off and do my own thing. I started just writing. I was a freelance writer, so I had a good foundation of building an online business from that. I knew how, I mean, there's tons to know. I'm still learning every day about online businesses. There's, it's a never ending process, especially when things are changing. But I knew that I had an entrepreneur bug. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I just thought, hey, why not do something I love and make it a business and make the business out of something I love. So that's how that came about. I knew I wanted to do a business. So I just said, hey, I think the mace is a nice niche. At the time, I was like, let's just be a mace company. Even if it's a small niche, I know I could crush it, because the more narrow it is, probably the easier it will be. Since then, I've do more than that, especially on the content side. But yeah, so I bought some maces. I did like a minimum order, and I was lucky enough to get featured on a couple big gear sites, and I sold out of the product in like a week.
Oh, nice.
And then from there, it was like a never ending process of keeping them in stock and selling out. And yeah, I mean, it worked. It just, I guess I got lucky with the features, because it really took off. And since then, I've just been trying to grow the business in different ways. And my Instagram is not doing as well as I'd like. Not enough traction, but my website, we get a lot of visitors, a lot of people come to us to learn. That's why I created Set for Set I just wanted to provide people with, kick-ass equipment and workouts and education. So, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, your blog is really good. Not only from on the mace side, but just everything that a fitness blog should have. In fact, you found me because of an article I wrote on military.com about lower back pain and lower back movements. And you have some really great movements for, the lower back as well. I mean, it's everything from resistance training and band training, and you're probably teaching people also how to do more with less. Especially right now, a lot of people are trying to build their home gyms and looking for a versatile tool that will allow for that. So yeah, this has all that kind of equipment in there too. So you make kettlebells as well, right?
Yeah, just started about, actually it might already be a year now.
Oh, nice.
About a year ago, I think. We had some traction on the blog for kettlebell, like what size kettlebell to buy. We were writing about this stuff because I love kettlebells as well. And we got a lot of traffic there. So I'm like, hey, why not put out our own kettlebell? Plus, I like to have my own kettlebell. That's, I
think that's great. That's awesome. And you got a cool article here, dumbbells versus kettlebells, which are better. That's a cool one. The 50 best kettlebell exercises. I learned about a dozen just looking at that free information right there. So
that's my guy, Scott Viala. Yeah, really awesome guy. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of good ones in there. I mean, when I started the blog, it was just me writing, and I pretty much only talked about steel maces. I mean, we did some other stuff that we thought was cool, but that was about it. And now it's really become, because I saw that people were interested and we were getting traffic for these different things. Now I just talk about whatever I'm interested in. in fitness. So it's everything. And
There you go. Here's one with the you call it the Gada. Is that no?
oh
Those
no,
those
sorry,
those are
that's a
different.
Indian club.
Those are like bowling pins, right?
Yeah, those are bowling ball pins right there. That's an Indian club.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's where I had originally seen this type of training come in. It's a little lighter, so you can do a little more shoulder mobility work with those things,
Yep.
compared to the mace. But this is a really good one because look what this guy has. He has a kettlebell. He has what are these called again? Just
Indian clubs.
Indian clubs. You got the mace, and he's got a medicine ball. I mean, what more do you need?
Yeah, that's our guy, Jan Laboro. Shout out to him. Really awesome guy, 79 years old, and he loves unconventional fitness.
Love it.
He really does.
Love it. And that's a great title for an article, too, because everybody's looking for an option with gym space, right? Whether it's gym space in their home or it's going outside, take some equipment outside and doing some movements. Because, I just read a survey the other day, kind of a study/survey, where 70% so far who are gym members have not returned back to the gym since COVID. 70%, and 30% say they will never, even after their shots and their vaccines and this whole thing's over with. 30%. So it's going to be a 30% decrease in gym memberships. From the survey. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I feel bad for the gyms, but I mean, I like to hear that, but I feel bad for the gyms. They gotta figure out new ways to maybe get people in. But yeah, I mean, I saw an explosion in the website since around a year ago to this month. It just blew up. People were clearly looking for home products.
Yep.
And the Steel Mace has grown in popularity, so those things were selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, I tell you, I had the same situation with people just looking for ideas, right? And a lot of my books are calisthenics and minimal equipment programming that can be done anywhere, and that was a good tool for people to kind of keep the momentum going versus lose all those good habits that they have. Unfortunately, I saw another study where the average weight gain of Americans was 29 pounds last year.
Yeah, I saw something like that too.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you gained weight, the average that you gained was 29, where before COVID, the average weight gain was between 5 and 10 a year. Wow, I mean, it tripled, quadrupled. I mean, it's just crazy that occurred in a year. I mean, there's a lot going on. You lose your job, high stress that goes along with that. There's stress eating. You're not doing what you just can't get outside as much. Can't go to the gym. So there's a lot of issues that obviously occurred that caused that. But that's a horrible statistic to see. Now the good news is 30% lost weight during COVID.
Wow.
So you got to take the good with the bad, but the average weight gain was 30 pounds, but 30% also lost weight, but 60 to 70 gained weight. So it's tough. 10%, 10% gained 50 pounds or more.
Wow.
In a year.
Oh yeah. Man.
That's a lot. That's hard to do.
That's hard to do. I couldn't even do it if I tried, I think.
That's a pound a week. That's a lot of extra calories not being burned.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean,
so anyway, the reason why I bring that up is that, having a solution that is an inexpensive solution that can be done just about anywhere, whether it's in a home or it's just outside in your backyard, at a park, whatever, is very appealing right now to people who are, one, trying to maintain what they've been able to do over the last year, but also rebuild some of these new good habits that people need to start doing again.
Yeah.
So what's with your website Set for Set, what do you see the next 5 years going for you as far as how that's being applied to maybe on the tactical side, with tactical fitness report? Let's try to change the angle a little bit and see how you've experienced with military, law enforcement, police officers able to utilize this training.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, right now we have a lot of actually firefighters who I'm in contact with. They're really interested in the Steel Mace. They've been using it for years. They seem to really like it. I would like to get into, right now we're doing all types of education. The product side of the business is hard. It's very capital intensive. So I'm trying to get more into education. I think what we want to do is really important, and it's good for the tactical fitness that you're doing, because we're all about being well-rounded. And I think tactical fitness, that's what it's about: having the strength, endurance,
Everything.
the power, right? Being able to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be
So
good
I
at
would like
everything
to
versus
just
great at.
continue to develop content.
Yeah, you have to be good at everything versus
Yeah.
just being great
Yeah.
at one thing, Yeah. So is that the plan?
Super important.
Yeah. How about certifications? Anything like that with the Mace?
Okay, yeah, okay, good. Definitely that. We're doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm releasing a couple ebooks. We're simultaneously working on them. I got one for the kettlebell, the resistance bands. But as soon as that's done, I'm doing a workshop, online Steel Mace workshop. So that's going to be interesting, and I'm trying to get it certified by NASM. That's not going to be too difficult, according to my research, as long as it goes well, and it's going to be a good course. I've already have it all ready to go, and I've done live workshops in the past. So the system's there. It's just got to be online for X amount of time, and then I can apply to get it officially certified by NASM. That'll be really cool. That's a goal for this year, maybe early next year, have that done. And I'm releasing a new product, which is perfect for the home and people who want to just be able to have a tool that can do everything. It's called the MB3, but that we had a little issue with the design, so I'm working on that now with the manufacturers, and hopefully that get the kinks worked out of that. But I'd like to release that by the summer.
Oh, okay.
And I just want to keep pushing out content that I think is well-rounded. That's like I thought it was really interesting when I was reading about tactical fitness, because that's exactly how I like to train. So I love what you're doing. I think it's perfect, and that's how I look at fitness.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll be pumping content.
Well, I see your content, and you're putting out at least a couple articles a week. Is what it looks like on your blog there, and they're full of information, free information for people to just come learn. How about videos? Are you putting out a lot of videos on the Mace? Because I will tell you, I probably the thing that I do the most is coach swimming, and yeah, I can't just write about swimming, right? I just can't take a picture of someone swimming and that be enough to explain what the person is doing. A movement of video is required when you're coaching. If somebody were to tell me, hey, I'm not quite getting my stroke right, you have any suggestions? No, show me a video so I can see it. So how about how about that for you? Is video a very big part of your training?
Video is definitely a big part of the training. It's right now the blog is where everyone's coming. That's where everyone's finding us. But I'm really trying to do the YouTube better and make it bigger, because I think video is super important. Like you said, it's probably even more important these days than just reading something, especially when it comes to fitness. You want to see it, and you can go more in depth and then look at the blog. But I'm putting out full-length workouts, so for free. People can go to my YouTube and they can pick up their Mace and follow along. The workouts are done very they're like, it's almost like a class where you're going to see step by step how to do a movement. They're not going to just jump right into it without knowing what to do. They're going to learn the movements before the workout begins. There's a bunch of them on there. I got kettlebell workouts, steel mace workouts, resistance band workouts, body weight workouts, more are coming for that. And I'm going to start combining tools, and just, I want to start doing different kind of unconventional fitness. That's kind of what my brand is, unconventional fitness. So I'm going to have more stuff coming like that. But I think the full length workouts are very useful. And then I just put out random compilations of like exercise that I think are awesome that people can try with my products. And you can find those on my YouTube.
Nice. Yeah. So what is your YouTube?
Set for set.
Set for set. So pretty much set for set on all the social media. And we'll be able to do that. You know what I'll do is I'll put links to all of your social media in the description of this podcast, and people can find that. You know, because I found a lot of information on your Instagram as well. I haven't been to your YouTube channel yet, but it appears like all the videos that you have on your blog are also coming from your YouTube channel. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
I guess I was on there. I just didn't know it, but no, that was very educational. I've learned a lot about the mace in the last 48 hours. Right. And I did that through you reaching out to me saying, hey, I like this lower back workout you did in this article. Check this out. And it's like, yeah, it's great information that you had on your blog. And I'm like, so tell me about the mace. I don't know anything about it because, you know, I do a lot in, you know, I think I diversify my training completely. But, you know, when there's something that I'm not doing, I always say I could be missing out on something that's really helpful. Right. So I never look at my workout being perfect. You know, I always look at it as the perfect workout might be the one I'm not doing. Right.
Me
so
too.
I always trying to figure out the new thing. And sometimes it's a flop and it's like, yeah, that didn't work for me. But, you know, with the mace, I can tell already, you know, it's going to be challenging in many different ways that I think will be helpful, you know, especially as I age. But then, you know, you can even go a little more traditional with the mace and use it as a sledgehammer on a tire if you prefer.
Yeah, that's awesome workout. That's brutal, especially if you start using a heavier mace. I sent you the 15-pound too. That one's good for slamming. But if you start swinging that 20 for the slams, you can actually also add in some cool rotational movements for the slam, like a swing, 360 swing to a slam. That's really fun. Or even like a squat, swing, slam. I like to really combine the movements together and do some like complex type exercises that I feel are more dynamic and get the heart rate pumping.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing that you cannot be running and just standing still, moving something and get really winded.
Yeah.
You know, always look for those exercises that do that. Like there are a couple exercises with the suspension trainer, like the TRX, that it's just like I'm running, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, I really like those, you know, because you can really get your heart rate up in the middle of your living room with very little equipment and not having to move, you know, out of a box that's 4x4. And I find those to be very helpful on those days when you don't have time to go do your full workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I mean, I love the mace. I love unconventional tools. I have them all over my house, but I still like to, you know, go outside and run. I like to go hit the gym and do barbell exercises because I'm trying to train absolute strength as well. I still do that. The stuff I used to do a long time ago, I never stopped doing that. I just try to add things in, and what, like you said, what sticks. If it doesn't, I just whatever. I like to experiment on myself with fitness. I'm constantly doing that, and the steel mace stuck. So I knew, you know, that's what I love it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Just like I like doing strength training. So
yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, I still go back to my old school barbell days, power lifter, you know, sprinter, get some fast stuff in there, and then, you know, then change it up and do some swimming and longer distance running and high rep calisthenics and just kind of shift through all the different energy systems and, you know, try to make yourself well-rounded. But I find, you know, tools like this to just be, you know, something that when you add it just, you know, every other day, you know, throughout your week, you can see a difference in some way. It might be shoulder mobility, it might be balance, it might be grip strength, it might be you might see your obliques, you know, show through your ribs there because they're getting more developed than normal, you know,
Yeah,
from normal movements. So yeah, I'm a big fan already. So I appreciate your time on this. Last word for anything, you know, from you about Set for Set, or, you know, where to find you, you know, how can we help you? Because here's what's going to happen on my end. People are going to see me swinging this mace on my social media and they're going to say, what is that? And I'm going to say, go to setforset.com.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Just check us out. Not much to say besides I just hope I can help people. My goal with Set for Set was to, you know, help people achieve a higher level of performance, and I just come check out what we're doing. And if you like it, then just subscribe to what we're doing and stick around, because we're going to keep doing awesome stuff.
Yeah. My advice is go to Set for Set, check out the blogs first, right? And especially if you want to learn a little more about what Sam does and his crew. And then, you know, check out the maces and the posters and the guide that he has there. Of course, there's other bands and kettlebells that he sells on his website too that are very useful tools. And I will tell you what, it's hard to find steel these days, right? I mean, I had a gift card somebody gave me for a company that, you know, sells plates and, you know, barbells and dumbbells, and they were sold out of everything, right? If you can find kettlebells, maces, you know, type of workout, you know, type equipment that's, you know, made of steel, it's hard to find these days because everybody's buying up stuff for their home gym.
It is. Yep, definitely is. We've kept in stock, thankfully. That's been a priority, just stay in stock.
Nice.
But yeah, I see around a lot of companies out of stock always.
Yeah.
Seems like.
All right, man. So, Sam, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. I learned a lot, you know, just by going to your site and picking up this mace. I appreciate the mace. You will see us using this thing as early as tomorrow. So I gotta see how it looks on some of my guys. You know, it's gonna be a funny transition for some of us, but we'll try to get something done for you and plug you on our social media.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. This was awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time, everybody, Tactical Fitness Report. We'll try to bring you something new that I see that's on the horizon that maybe you're not used to seeing. So there we go. Tactical Fitness Report. Sam, thanks a lot.